Hey, what's good? So I'm watching Pedro, Mr. Bet on You. Uber rider cancels ride scam, exposing the oldest Uber scam around. This is a very old scam, but people are still using it here in 2025. It is real sad that people will get in your car a mile down the road, half a mile, 5 miles, whatever, and then they cancel the ride and they say, well, I don't know what happened. Driver's like, I don't know what happened either. Understand this. The moment a person does that, you need to get them out of your car. And I would suggest that if you're driving Lyft, you hit the shield sign right here. And when you do that, you go ahead and you click on the ADT video emergency help. Okay, you want them to start viewing the ride before you start explaining stuff to passengers. You know, you get ADT on the phone and say, I have a passenger in my car. They just, the ride canceled. I didn't cancel it. Lyft, Uber, if you can do this on Uber, you can let them know. They don't cancel rides at all. And I didn't cancel it. I believe that the passenger canceled it, but the passenger says that they didn't cancel it. It's nothing that I could do. If I was, the passenger wants to pay me to take them to where they have to go, but we can't do that because of insurance purposes. And it has to be on an active trip. Otherwise, if I get into an accident, then I'm held accountable and everything like that. So I don't know what the passenger wants me to do, but Lyft's protocol is for the passenger to exit the vehicle, and the passenger already said that they paid for the ride, which I'm pretty sure Lyft has made an adjustment because the trip did not finish yet. And then you stop. It is at this point in time, ADT is going to let them know that the passenger, they're not. I'm going to say that they're not going to talk directly to the passenger, but they're going to say yes, the passenger has to exit the vehicle. Do you want the police on the scene? That's what they're going to do, and the passenger is going to exit out the car because they don't want to be held up any longer. So this is what you would do on the Lyft platform. Now, Uber, I believe, does have a panic button as well. Now, if you type into Google, does Lyft put a hold on my account? Basically, I can't remember everything that I punched in. Okay, I typed in, does Lyft put a hold on my account for all my rides throughout the day and then charge me once for the total fares out of the day? Okay, so on Google, it basically says no. Lyft does not typically put a hold on your account for all rides throughout the day and then charge you once for the total. Now, understand this. If you read right here, it says typically. And here's why it says that. If you set your payment frequency to daily or one charge per day. So if you have the updated version, down here in the bottom right, it says you. Now, if you have the old version of the passenger app at the top, it has 3 bars at the top where you would click on that. That's your menu button. On the next screen, you're going to click on payment. Then you're going to scroll down. And this was on that, remember the previous page, it said payment frequency. Now here, what you have right here, it gives you 2 different options that you can click on. You're paying after each ride, and then it says you're paying once for all the rides you take in a day, which I believe it's up to 5 rides that they will only charge your account once. Understand this, every financial institution, they charge companies per transaction. This is why Lyft has this option. It's very smart on their end because they can just go ahead and do one transaction versus doing separate transactions. Now, it is possible with this, it could be one small issue, and that is when you tap on you and then you go down to settings, passengers can then set a default tip. That could be anywhere from 10, 15, 20, and 25%. The reason why I say that can be an issue is because if they're holding all the transactions, all the amount for each one of the trips, you may not receive your tip during, right after the ride. They may not put the tip on there until the end of the day, or maybe they do. Maybe they do put the tip on there after each ride because they already put the money on hold, for that trip in the first place, so it's already verified funds. But knowing them, they may try to play those games and say, well, the passenger put their payment frequency set to the end of the day after all rides have been completed. And it's just one transaction. That's when we're going to pay you out your tip. So they may use that to their advantage, and that might be why they set it up that way. Maybe they don't. Maybe they haven't. I honestly, I don't really know, and it'd just be stupid of me to even proceed into making any speculation on whether that's possible or not. So ultimately, if you're in a situation like this, get that passenger the hell out of your car. Hit the panic button and then go ahead and get ADT on the phone. Or, if the passenger doesn't understand that you cannot go any further. But what they need to understand is that if we continue that trip, then we're held responsible. If you have an LLC and you are a private driver and everything like that, then your insurance will cover it. Then I guess it's cool on your end. But for many of us, we don't have an LLC. We don't have commercial auto insurance. We're not going to be covered. Honestly, you all, look, it is not worth the risk. It's not worth the risk, man. It's only, let's say they just say, man, I'll give you another $5. It's only 1 mile. And you're like, cool. Dude, it's not worth the risk, man. Do you realize if something happens, the amount of stress that you're going to experience, the amount of anxiety you're going to experience when somebody hits your car or you hit someone else's car? I mean, it's so much anxiety is going to hit you because you're going to be like, why did I do this? Why did I do this? Drivers who have been online and they decided to take that last ride when they knew that they should just go home, but that last ride was like $10 and there was a bonus on there, and it's not that many miles. We're like, screw it, I'm gonna do this last ride. And then they pick up that person, next thing you know, they get jumped or they get robbed or carjacked, and they're like, man, why did I take that last ride? I was just about to go offline. How could this have happened now? It's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's not worth doing a trip with somebody off app and you're not covered. Make sure that you're covered. I get it. A lot of people are saying, get your money and screw these apps and, make side deals and all this other stuff. I get it. I understand it. I get it. But honestly, it's not going to be worth the risk if something happens. We save money for vacations and for emergencies, but we're going to act stupid when it comes down to putting human beings in our car and taking risks that we shouldn't be taking that could ultimately put us in a financial bond. Come on, man. We gotta be smarter, think smarter. But again, in situations like this, it's a good thing when you have a dash cam, but you need to make sure that your dash cam that you do have, you need to make sure that dash cam is registered on a Lyft app. And again, I forgot where I was at in the video because this is like the 5th or 6th time me doing the video because the other videos were too long. But you need to make sure that it's registered because in America, you have to notify people that they're going to be recorded. Because if they do something wrong, that recording can't be used in a court of law if you never had it posted in the first place, especially in this environment inside of our cars. Lyft has to notify the passenger that the ride is going to be recording video and or audio during the trip. And I hate when people get in my car and is that a dash cam? Lyft notified you that there will be a dash cam on board. If you're uncomfortable, I can get you another driver. I'm only saying that because that's a stupid question. It's a stupid question. You can obviously see it's a dash cam. You can tell yourself, I think that's a dash cam, but not ask me a dumb question. Don't ask me a dumb question. It makes me feel uncomfortable knowing I got an idiot back there. All right? And I'm respectful to people. I don't think that way about people until people start to show themselves. But it's simple. There's something called discovery when you're going to court. And what it is you have to provide the other counsel, you have to provide them with any evidence that you have so that they can properly prepare for their case. And Lyft can't sit here and say that there was a dash cam on board and try to use that video footage because it was never registered. And that is something that the lawyers are going to want to know. Was it registered with the app? Was the passenger notified about any type of recording devices on board? If the passenger never received any notification because the driver never registered the device, then guess what? They're not going to allow it in court. It's not submissible. So if that is the case, then you're kind of stuck at that point. You're stuck at that point because now you have no evidence to defend yourself, whether it was an accident or, well, maybe not so much the accident. It depends on what the passenger is trying to say about you. But if somebody was trying to accuse you of sexual harassment, because you did not register the dash cam, it is their word against yours. And they could tie you up by trying to have conversations with you and pausing video and playing it at certain points while they're recording audio or video footage. And then they could sit there and they could say, well, see, the driver said this, the driver said that. You know, long as it's inside of the same minute, I mean, the person can easily make it seem like you're saying this now. And right, you know, word after word, verbatim and everything. So again, register your dash cams. Just get the stuff out of the way. Everything. Is Lyft monitoring your dash cams on every single ride? No. Understand this. I don't understand why drivers say some of the weirdest stuff on YouTube. Oh, they're spying on you and everything. With who? With who? How are they spying on you? With who? How many times has Lyft laid off thousands of people or hundreds of thousands of people? And then the fact that now they have AI, their AI bots are doing mostly everything. How long? Customers can't even find a number for Lyft in the app. In the passenger app, they can't find a number. On Google, they're not going to find a number. So they're not, you know, there's no human beings to answer the calls. That's why we have to be on certain tiers in order for Lyft to even talk to us and everything. Otherwise, it would be too long of a hold, and they want drivers on the road. That's why you got to be on a certain tier in order to be able to talk to them. Now, before, you had to be on a higher tier. You couldn't be on silver and get them on the phone. But you're welcome, because that was one of the things that I complained about to them. Like, first and foremost, y'all got all these features, but drivers can't even experience it today. They basically be a slave to you. You got to let them experience it. That's why we have a few future filters that we can use on the silver tier. You got 2 filters that you can use for area filters instead of having to wait until you're on a higher tier to be able to do it. This is only going to be temporary before they take that away on a silver tier. They're just making sure that people have the experience of using it and seeing whether it's profitable or unprofitable. But again, stand up for yourself. Get those people out of your car, because if you let them stay in your vehicle and you drop them off, it is a good chance that they're going to still give you a bad rating, because they don't want to get in your car again. Because 9 out of 10, what are they going to do? They're going to end up telling you, oh, I'll tip you on the app. No, they're not. They're not going to tip you on the app. Sorry, I had to pause the video and sneeze. But they're not going to tip you in the app. They're likely to give you a bad rating, even try to report you so that they can get credits on their account. Trust me, that person that you got in your back seat is not the person you want to remain in your vehicle. You need to get them out of your vehicle. You can finish the trip if you want to for free, in hopes that they don't do anything. But the thing is that passengers already know that if you give them less than 4 stars, then they're going to be blocked. But their rating is also going to go down too. So they're going to try to beat you to the punch so that whatever you rate them, it doesn't matter. Plenty of people, drivers have tried to go back in the app hours later and try to give somebody a lower rating, and they realize that for some reason it's translucent, where you usually would press the button instead of it being in bold. It's translucent. Why? Because they won't let you rate the passenger. Why? Because the passenger already gave you a 1-star rating. So now you can't go back and you can't rate them. So with all that being said, just make sure that you're being safe out there, and follow the policies on the app as much as possible, because when you're not following policy, you're going to make things harder on drivers, especially you guys that are picking up people without car seats. You can get a ticket for that. In my market, it can be anywhere from $25 to $75, and it's the first time that you do it, it's basically that's the fine. The second time, it's a 4th-degree misdemeanor and a $250 ticket and 30 days in jail. So you got $250, 30 days in jail, and you have that on your record. That sucks. A lot of us aren't even going to drive our own kids in a car without a car seat. And if an emergency, we may do it. So you don't want a passenger being your first offense, because the second offense is a 4th-degree misdemeanor. So also know the rules in your state and the laws in your state, because if you don't, you allow something to happen or go on that's not supposed to happen, you can end up being screwed. I appreciate you. Please like, share, and subscribe. See you in the next one.